Now, some of you know a few weeks ago we shared an incredible thing that happened to Dave. And graciously, I asked him if he would help me with my talk tonight. And he said yes, which I'm really grateful for. So Dave, for those of you who don't know, Dave, you had an amazing thing happen a few weeks ago. For those of you who don't know, Dave was getting ready to have major heart surgery. About 2 weeks ago now, maybe?
February 16th, it would have been.
February 16th. So he was going in. He had a bad valve, and he had an enlarged aorta. They taken a couple sets of pictures, and they verified things were bad. He was getting ready to go in for the surgery. Just a few days away, they took one last set of pictures. And what happened, Dave?
So they sent me up to Penn, University of Penn, and I went through all the tests again, and we had everybody at the church, everybody at the well. I had more people praying for me and a lot of good prayers too. But anyway, we went up, spent the whole day up there. We did all the tests again, and went through the whole meeting with the doctor who was going to take care of me afterwards. We have the brochure that shows you what to do, the soap I was supposed to wash with the night before, stuff to put up your nose so you don't get sick, and went through all they told us what was going to be like the day of the surgery. They told my wife, you might not want to be in there more than 10 minutes, just go home, come back the next day, it's going to be bad. And after all that, the doctor said, all right, we'll see you after the surgery, and the surgeon's going to come in and talk to you for a couple minutes just so you're comfortable. So she leaves, and Gene says, I got to run through the bathroom. So she leaves, and of course, the doctor comes in when he's supposed to, and she's not there. And so he walks in, and he goes, I got some good news for you. And I said, don't say another word until my wife gets back, because I already knew. Because I that morning when I was getting ready, I don't even know if I told you this. I'm brushing my teeth and all, and I don't have a shirt on, and I'm trying to picture what I'm going to look like with this scar, ruining this perfect body here. And I couldn't picture it. I'm like, I couldn't see it. And
Thanks,
I'm like,
Dave. Now we all picture it. Thank you. We appreciate that.
So anyway, to make a long story short, and before we even went to Penn, the doctor I had here who sent me there, which it turned out, he wanted me to go there because they said it was they would have a hard time putting me back together because I'm so big, and they said we're going to need titanium plates, and it was crazy, but anyway, and I did ask my doctor here, my cardiologist. I said, so you're telling me? So my aneurysm was 5.3. If it was 5.5, they said we would just take you right to the hospital and do it right now. I said, you're telling me there's no way it can shrink? He goes, they don't shrink, they just get bigger. I said, all right. And so anyway, the doctor comes in. Gene comes back. I'm like, sit down. He's got to tell us something. And the surgeon says, well, I guess we probably have better equipment here, but your aneurysm's only 4.9. And also, I was supposed to get my valve replaced. I had already picked out the valve, and he goes, your valve's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to have to cancel the surgery. And
So that's incredible. So Dave, let me ask you a crazy question. Did it surprise you at all that God healed you?
Actually, it did not, because I've had a lot of other stuff in my life happen where I just know God's real, and what he says he can do, he still does if you just believe him.
So Dave had another thing. Again, remember we talked about the track record of faith. It's the anchor of things. So back when you had COVID, you had one night that was pretty rough, and tell them about what your experience that you had with COVID.
So I had COVID, and I never was vaccinated, and it was pretty bad. So I went 3 days without sleeping. I couldn't lay down. If I laid down, I would stop breathing, and my lungs were filled with. And I didn't want to go into the hospital because I had heard all the horror stories about the ventilators, and you never get better. And so about the third night, it's like 3 a.m, and I'm sitting there. I just remember sitting on the bed going, I think I waited too long. I'm not going to make it to the hospital. This is, all the crazy stuff I've done in my life. This is what's going to take me out now. and and I'm sitting there, and I remember going, what should I wear? Which I have no idea why. and I'm looking around, and how am I going to go out without sending my wife into a panic? And I just, honestly, it was the second time in my life it happened. I heard a voice that seemed to be an audible voice say, put worship music on, lay back flat on your bed, do not use a pillow, and relax. And that was like specific instructions. So I'm like, all right. So I did it, and it seemed like I just laid down and closed my eyes, and I opened them a second later, and it was 8:30 in the morning. I slept right through the night, and yeah, it was crazy. But do I tell the rest of it?
Yeah, tell me.
So I get up. Now it's a Sunday morning, and I go turn the TV on to watch the service, and I saw the worship team, and I saw Pastor Trish was doing the prayers, and all of a sudden, honestly, every symptom I had went away. I felt like I was perfectly normal. I started eating. I hadn't eaten, and I told Gina, my wife, I'm like, God just healed me of COVID, and so I went through the whole day. I got some meals in me, and about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, all the symptoms started coming back again. And I'm like, what's going on? So by about 4, I was back in full COVID again. So, and then I just felt a voice inside of me say, and I felt like God said to me, this is what I could have did had you came to me. But you chose to do it your way, so now we're going to go ahead and let you finish this out. But just see this is what I'm capable of doing. And ever since that day, and I told TJ, I said, if I cut my hand off before I get to the hospital, I'm going to go, do you want to do something with this? Because he's going to get first shot every time.
That's awesome. So let me ask you a question. What does it do to your faith to have God answer over and over and over and over and over?
I really don't know, honestly. Like, I don't deserve it. I don't know. When I left the hospital in Pennsylvania, my first thoughts were, why me? Like, why not Trish? Trish spent her whole life dedicated to you, does nothing but give, and here I am riding home. And that only took about 2 minutes, and then I just felt like God said, don't question me. I still love Trish. I'm going to take care of Trish, but you're going to tell me how to do my job now? And
that's not a good idea.
Yeah, and so then I accepted it, and I honestly don't know why, but I do feel like I do honestly believe that he's the same God that TJ was talking about. He's still alive. He is doing everything he always did when he was walking on earth, and you just have to believe it. And I'm not preaching. I got one thing I wanted to say.
He told me real quick, too. He says, by the way, if this goes well, he goes, I'm not preaching for Easter. I said, don't worry, Dave. You're not preaching for Easter. Well, I can promise you that right now. There you go, Leo.
So one day I'm riding to work, and I'm saying my prayers. And every day I say my prayers in the car. And I don't know. I'm going to work one day, and I'm saying the same thing I say every day. Thank you, Lord, for my wife. Thank you for my son. And it just hit me really hard, and I said, I felt like God said, are you praying, or is this like a ritual to you? Like, is it a ritual? Do you expect the answer? Are you asking for? And I'm like, it probably was a ritual. And after that, I started just praying for specific things and then expecting an answer. And it might not be the answer I want or the timing I want, but he always answers. Yeah. You just have to look. If you just look for it, it's there. He answers every prayer. And then, this is the one thing that I found when I was trying to figure out. So I used to think, like it says, seek God all the time, seek God with. And I would always picture, like, you know, I got to sit in a room with a Bible 24 hours. I'm reading the Bible. I'm, you know, singing. And then it dawned on me one day, you know, seeking God is just looking for the answers for your prayer, looking at the small, like, he blesses you every day. You know, the fact that all you got to do is lose your power for like 24 hours and you'll thank God that you have electric.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true.
But anyway, when I was looking for that, I found Hebrews 11:6 says, without faith it is impossible to please him, for whoever would draw near to God must first believe that he exists, which I think we all do. But then it says we also must believe that he rewards those who seeks him. So I think we have to believe that he's going to answer us and he wants good stuff for us and he's going to take care of us and he's going to do what he says he's going to do. But you got to believe it. It's not a magic trick or something like that. You just got to believe that he's still the guy that was walking around here a couple thousand years ago.
Amen. Thank you, Dave. Everybody give Dave a hand. This is beautiful. You did it and you didn't die. Dave did not die.